For more on this story, we're joined by Dr. Eytan Cohen Yanarocak, a Turkey expert here at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security. Now, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Here. First of all, the standoff with France now making news.
Sure.
Coming from both the leaders of the country now, this war of words. What's the greater issue at stake here? What do you see playing?
The greater issue here is the rivalry between France and Turkey. We are seeing this rivalry in Libya, in Lebanon, even in Nagorno Karabakh. But why Erdogan is so nervous? The answer of this question is very crucial because recently Mr. Macron already issued some new measures that he is not going to allow foreign imams to his territory for them to allowing them to work. And in this regard, we know that the Turkish Directorate of Religious Affairs are dispatching every year lots of imams, especially to France, to Germany. So Mr. Erdogan is very skeptical and very anxious that this will create a new precedent, a new example for also other European states, because thanks to this organization, he can influence the Turkish diaspora, especially in Germany and in France. And now Mr. Macron is began to speak about a new European Islam. From Erdogan's perspective, it's a foreign intervention to Islam, because at the end of the day, he sees himself as the ultimate defender of the Muslim faith. So when we are looking at the broader map, we are also seeing that Turkish and the French are having a very important friction in the Eastern Mediterranean. The French is supporting Greece. Also, both countries engaged in a proxy war in Libya. So there are many different issues, and what we are seeing today is the top of the iceberg.
And maybe stepping somewhat away from France, but looking, you mentioned Nagorno Karabakh and the war raging here between Armenia and Azerbaijan in this region here. Turkey's been involved by the account of many reports claiming direct support to Azerbaijan. I believe Turkey's denied a lot of those reports, but given their involvement, or what does it say to you about the greater regional impact of Turkey right now, or ambitions?
Well, when we are looking at the Turkish foreign policy, Turkey is very active in Syria, in Iraq, in Cyprus, in Eastern Mediterranean, and what we are seeing
their neighborhood, by all accounts, they're bordering areas.
They are saying no party without us. So in this regard, we should understand that in Turkey, Mr. Erdogan is having a very hard time because of this coronavirus crisis, the devaluation of the Turkish lira. So he's doing his best in order to divert the attention to outside theaters. And in this regard, we should not underestimate the impact of the Armenians in the Turkish historiography. We all know what happened in 1915. And we all know that whenever there is a friction with a non-Muslim state, and if that particular non-Muslim state is Armenia or Israel, is it's fancier, it's sexier for the Turkish constituency. Let us also not forget, Mr. Erdogan had an alliance with the Turkish nationalists at home. So when you are supporting Azerbaijan, which is considered as a part of the big Turkic family, so you're also trying to get more public approval from your Turkish nationalists at home. Yeah, it's basically increasing his public approval at home. We should not forget about that. The Turkish foreign policy is Mr. Erdogan's public relations at home.
Wow. Different from many countries around the world, obviously. I want to bring the United States into perspective as well, too. Obviously, election next week. It appears that many countries around the world, in some ways, holding their breath to see who the president will be. But given the moment right now, or in the months leading up to this, what kind of U.S. involvement? There's been obviously growing animosity between Turkey and the United States. Is the U.S. influencing Turkey's behavior at all right now around the region?
Right now, U.S. is partially doing that. Whenever there's a direct friction between U.S. and Turkey, that we can also recall from the Pastor Branson crisis. Right. So U.S. is punishing Turkey with concrete sanctions. But
has a lot to do with the devaluation of the currency.
Yeah. But other than that, I do not see any U.S. involvement. From my understanding, U.S. is also enjoying from Turkey's extraterritorial interventions, let's say in Libya, because at the end of the day, it's against Russian interests. When we are seeing the Turkish involvement in the conflict in the Nagorno Karabakh, Turkey is basically acting in the backyard of the Russians. For centuries, Turkey did not dare to enter to that area. It's also true for Syria. So U.S. is enjoying to see that the Turks are causing problems to the Russian banner.
Complex set of circumstances in each of those arenas, to say the least. Dr. Eytan Cohen Yanarocak, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.